Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:34. And Aerosmith with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Going to be sunny today with a high of 31. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 33. And then going to see some significant snow fall. Maybe throughout the area. 6 to 12 inches they're calling for. And Dan Brown will give you all the details on that coming up later on this hour, I guess.
I don't know.
Next hour?
I don't know. I mean, I've been praying for 12 inches forever.
Yeah.
I don't have expectations that it's going to arrive.
Well, you want a four-wheel drive vehicle, you should head on over to Marcotte Ford.
Yeah. Oh, good point.
Yeah,
you know what?
That's right.
They were sponsoring the podcast. Marcotte Ford, they got you back for sales, service, parts, and rentals.
Absolutely.
Marcotte Ford in Holyoke. An open line Friday, maybe an earlier version, say like around 7 o'clock or so.
Yeah, let's see if we can change up the audience a little bit. It's always the same people calling at 8 o'clock. Let's see what crawls out of the caves at 7.
I like that idea. It's good to kind of stir the pot a little bit from time to time.
I don't really care for these 4-day weeks. It makes it seem longer, doesn't it? Didn't this week kind of drag out, even though we've only been here for 4 days?
Yeah, but that would have happened whether it's 4 or 5, because I was coming off a vacation. So
Right.
don't count on me. I'm just more concerned about whether yesterday was trash day or today was trash day.
Well, every day is trash day here at Rock 102, and we'll do that coming up in a few minutes.
Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Listen
to Rock. It's 5:51 and 38 special with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
There's a snowstorm on the way this weekend, but today it's going to be sunny with a high of 31. Tomorrow, clouds, and then afternoon starts with the snow. Could see up to 6 to 12 inches throughout the Pioneer Valley. And it is 19 right now in downtown Springfield.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So, from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
Is it Hollyberry or Hallberry?
Holly.
Yeah. Why isn't it spelled Holly?
It's a good question.
Yeah. Anyway, she posted a thirst trap where she's posing as a rock formation. But her followers think there might be 2 piles of poo at her feet. Others suggested it could be dried coral or seaweed. It does look like dung, like she's sitting there on these rocks, and then right in front of her, 2 big piles of dung, like somebody's dog didn't clean up.
I wouldn't want Halle Berry anywhere near that stuff.
Well, she doesn't seem to care. She's just sitting there on the beach between these rocks, and she's looking like she's enjoying every minute of it.
I guess. I don't know. I don't like being so close to poop of any kind, especially if it's not mine.
Sandra Bullock fulfilled her partner Brian Randall's dying wish by spreading his ashes on the Snake River in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, in honor of what would have been his 58th birthday. Sandra's sister, Jazine Bullock Prado, posted a video of the snowy landscape and said, quote, "Happy birthday, Bri. Sandy brought you to the river just as she promised." Brian passed away in August from ALS after a private 3-year battle. He and Sandra met in 2015 when he was hired to take photos of her adopted son, Lewis. They were together for about 8 years. ALS. Ugh.
Terrible way to go.
What a horrible, horrible fate for anybody who gets that. Ben Affleck was spotted shooting what appears to be a Dunkin' ad where he's trying to balance a huge order but drops it at his front door. It could be a Super Bowl ad since the big game is just about a month away.
Have they ever advertised on the Super Bowl before?
They did. He was like the guy running the
run the window.
They took him out to like Billerica or something, and he was in a Dunkin' out there.
That's right.
Yeah,
I forgot.
He's quite the actor.
As long as Matt Damon approves, sure.
I'm sure it's going to be hilarious.
That guy can't help but be hilarious.
People in New England love Ben Affleck.
We do.
And
we really,
Matt
truly
Damon.
do.
Shia LaBeouf was confirmed as a Catholic on Sunday and reportedly wants to become a deacon. So, all this time, that's what you wanted to become?
He wants to become a deacon.
I would have went different with a different religion.
Well, listen, some speak to you, some don't. I mean, as a Catholic, I suppose it's great to have someone join the club. But on the other hand, jumping right into being a deacon's a little bit rambunctious. It's a little...
Yeah, you got to start small. Why don't you be the Eucharistic minister at least for a couple of Sundays before you jump into the deacon spot?
Why don't you be one of those guys that hands out donuts to everybody after Mass?
Yes.
That's a good way to start. You just don't jump into deaconship.
It's like Peggy Perkins. That was the name of the lady at my church when I was growing up. Peggy Perkins.
Yeah.
Peggy Perkins had all the donuts out. She was a woman of God.
Of course she was.
And she was a woman of confectionery treats, which was delicious.
Now, you know what a deacon is, right?
That's bacon with Dijonnaise on it, right?
No.
What?
But you're close. A deacon is a son of a bishop.
Oh, I see what you did. Ah, man.
Catholic joke, thank you.
I don't know how people stand listening to this show without falling over laughing.
Listen, I bring it to the altar, Steve.
Shia's sponsor was brother Alexander Rodriguez.
Isn't that supposed to be anonymous?
Was A-Rod is a brother now? I didn't know that. That's how he...
I didn't think you were supposed to announce that in a press release about who your AA sponsor is.
No, it's a sponsor to become a Catholic.
Oh, I see.
I can't imagine it's A-Rod that we all know.
Could be.
Yeah. Is he pumping steroids in the back?
Is he looking into those big long mirrors, kissing himself?
Perhaps. He's a Capuchin Franciscan friar who appeared in Shia's recent movie Padre Pio. Oh, so he, you know what it is? He does this movie and then he feels like, hey, you know what? I should be Catholic.
Well, the whole Padre Pio story is a fascinating story.
Listen, pal, I've been Catholic for, 45 years. It ain't that what it's cracked up to be. That's what I'm saying. Pick a different religion.
Yeah, but the Padre Pio story is an amazing story. Guy could be at two places at once, had the stigmata on his hands.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see that thing down in Brazil, the giant Jesus statue that sits on top of the mountain, whatever that's called?
It's called the giant Jesus statue that sits on top of the mountain.
There's something, but they put a jersey on it for the football, the soccer team.
Okay.
They put a giant jersey on this thing back a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, would Jesus really approve of that? You think Jesus was...
I don't think Jesus would have not enjoyed a good soccer game.
Yeah, but I don't think he'd be up in the fans with the rest of the stands. I think he'd have his own box.
He lived a life of poverty. I'm not sure he could have afforded the luxury suite for all 12 apostles.
Yeah, but that's one of those things where he gets invited to that. Like Pontius Pilate's like, all right, you can sit here for the first couple of games, but don't do anything that I'm not going to approve of.
I don't know what's going on with that guy. Every time we're in his luxury suite, Pontius Pilate is washing his hands.
Yeah, and he's always accusing me of doing stuff. I didn't do anything to you, dude.
Then he asks the crowd what they think he should do. Make your own decision.
Yeah. Director Christopher Nolan found a critic in one of the most random people, his Peloton instructor. To refresh your memory, he's the guy behind The Dark Knight, Dunkirk, Interstellar, Inception, and most recently Oppenheimer. So basically, Nolan was, quote, dying mid-cycle on his Peloton when his instructor started talking about one of his films, which has since been revealed to be Tenet, right? He says, quote, the instructor said, did anyone see this? That's a couple hours of my life I'll never get back again. That's actually pretty funny. Because you think about these Peloton instructors, they try to come up with different things to talk about while they're making you sweat and push it out. Can you imagine you're the guy that he's criticizing? Because you probably don't even think oh, nobody famous is watching me do this. I'm
trying to imagine that on a local level for people like us.
Well, I had one the other day where this chick was like, "Oh, I'm pregnant now," and I go, "I got a buddy for that one." Kim Kardashian showed off ripped muscles in a new video on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
Just had something to say.
Oh my God! The last time I was this ripped when I tongue tagged Ray J's Russell the Love Muscle in that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95.
Who's this Russell fella?
Oh, you'll find out. He's coming soon.
Caitlin?
I never got that down and dirty with your mother, Chris Kim, but I once put the sticky picky in the vertical moisture slobbering.
Okay.
The love mayonnaise was right down on the breasticles.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is I found the panties sunny side up on the floor. You make egg drop soup out of that.
That's almost too disgusting to think about.
Well, that's what we do here, and that's your Hollywood trash at Rock 102.
Serves the best. And now, Bax's View from the Couch. Brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Good people, rock solid service at every Rocky's Ace Hardware.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, I don't know about you, but as a longtime employee, the last thing that I would want to hear from my boss is, we need to talk. Accepting that sort of grimly suspect invitation is always fraught with potential danger. Why do we need to talk? What did I do this time? Do I have time to get a coffee? These are the questions that would be racing through my head if I were summoned to the boss's office because we allegedly needed to talk about something. And I'm pretty sure that something is not a very good something at all. On Monday, Bill Belichick is scheduled to meet with Patriots owner Robert Kraft to allegedly talk about what just happened and why they might stink. What these two are going to talk about is purely speculation. But my guess is that Mr. Kraft will have a lot of questions and Bill Belichick will dodge a lot of the answers. In the same way he's only focused on the Jets this week, I'm sure by Monday he'll only be focused on getting out of Mr. Kraft's office alive. Nevertheless, lots of speculation out there claiming that a decision on Belichick's future has already been made. Others are saying that it hasn't. Some might even tell you they're not even going to discuss what happened during the regular season, and maybe some are telling you that they're just going to get together and binge watch a couple of romantic comedies together. The point I'm trying to make is this. For the next couple of days, the media is going to be transfixed on the outcome of this alleged meeting. You're going to have people claim to have the inside scoop attempt to tell you stuff without having access to any inside scooping. You're going to have reporters, analysts, sports bloggers, TV hosts all tell you what they think might happen. The truth is, nobody knows what's going to happen because chances are nobody who is scheduled to participate in that meeting is going to tell you what they're going to talk about. Because right now, they're only focused on the Jets and not focused on giving some guy from ESPN a chance at an exclusive. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You know, some people wait until the very first big storm, like Sunday, to get a bag of ice melt or a new snow shovel. Some people go to Rocky's ahead of the storm, and they're ready. What kind of person you gonna be? Winter Storm headquarters before and after the storm is your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock at 6:11 and Ozzy with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
It's going to be sunny today with a high of 32. Now, tomorrow, that's where things get a little wonky. We're not really sure how many inches we're going to get. They're saying 6 to 12, but who's to say?
See, now this is the whole problem with the weather.
Yeah.
The forecast that I just did, I got from the Weather Channel.
Yeah.
They're saying 1 to 3 on Sunday.
Okay.
I don't know if that means you get more Sunday night into Monday. I don't know.
Well, would you trust the Weather Channel or would you trust the 22 News Storm Team?
Tough call.
Because that's what I got in the weather alert.
Yeah, it's a real tough one to figure out.
But either way, it's 19 degrees right now in downtown Springfield. I remember years ago, being married and obviously sharing a bed with somebody else, with my wife, and she would always tell me I would snore like a lot, really bad. And so back, I don't know, it's like 2011 or 2012. I remember having this app on my phone that you could record yourself. If the decibels got above a certain amount, it would start recording you.
Okay.
So I did, and I had to profusely apologize to my wife after listening to that because it was like a buzzsaw. It was so bad. It was like honking away.
See, I'm used to be the same thing.
Right.
In fact, when I was in college, I had a roommate. We had bunk beds in college, and my roommate had the top bunk, and I would snore down below.
Yeah.
And every time my snoring got too loud, he would take a hammer and whack the metal frame of the bunk bed to wake me up to stop snoring.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure, like, anybody who I've ever shared a room with, college roommate or whatever, I'm sure they probably didn't say anything because it's not like something you can control. You can't really control If you're a snorer, you can't really control that. You're sleeping. You don't know what's going on.
You don't know you've been snoring.
No.
Unless like you wake up in the next morning and your throat hurts.
Right. So then, and that's what would happen to me. I would wake up, I would feel so tired, like I hadn't slept, even though I was in bed for 7 hours or so. I felt like I wasn't getting enough sleep, and then that's when I decided, all right, let's go get one of these sleep study things. And then I went down to Bay State, and they did the whole thing, and they hooked all the wires up to you. And they're like, oh, by the way, fat boy, you got sleep apnea. Or fatnea is what you got. And basically what it had been determined was there was so much, like, excess weight on my throat that when I would try to sleep at night, the fat would kind of close the airway.
Yeah.
And I would be gasping for air. And you know how dangerous that is? Because your body, your heart stops sometimes. Like you're literally your hearts can stop.
Well, I mean, I got sleep apnea too. I've been using the CPAP for 20 years.
Right.
And I love it. But you're absolutely right. Your heart has to generate more energy.
Right.
When it can't get enough oxygen.
Right.
To keep you alive. And so that's why, many people who have sleep apnea are in danger of heart attacks, strokes, and other ailments like that. Because if the heart's not getting the oxygen it needs, it's got to work 3 times as hard to make sure that the rest of your body's still being pumped with blood.
Right. Yeah. So now I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I want to make sure I get enough sleep. So I go to bed fairly early. Like I'm in bed by 7 o'clock most nights. Last night I was thinking about going to that comedy show, but I'm like, I gotta get some sleep. I don't feel right. I've been feeling kind of sick the last couple of days, but now I'm feeling a lot better this morning.
Right.
But I downloaded this app. It was another similar app to what I had used years ago about recording you when you're sleeping. And I have listened. I did this free trial on this thing, and for 3 nights in a row, there's very little snoring at all. Now, when I started doing this whole Peloton thing and all that stuff last year,
right,
I was still using the CPAP up until about September. And then there was one night where I didn't have I hadn't gotten new supplies yet. So I'm like, all right, well, whatever. I'll just ride it out and just sleep.
Sure.
Well, I slept and I'm like, I don't really feel any different than when I did when I had the CPAP machine. So what came to be was all that fat that was around my neck and losing 71 pounds over the course of a year and a half really helped me not have that condition anymore. And I feel great most days. When I wake up in the morning, I feel great because you're getting blood flow to yourself every day. Well, not every day, but I usually do that.
But are you snoring?
No, a very, very little.
Really?
And listening back to these clips, it's like, very little.
Remember a long time ago when I lost a substantial amount of weight?
Yeah.
All right. Well, my sleep apnea, I think, is bad enough that it didn't really. But the weight loss didn't affect anything. I still had it.
And not everybody is the same.
I think there's some physiological malfunction in my system.
Well, and that's what the doctor had explained to me years ago, was like, listen, he says, you seem to have this collapsing throat thing because of the weight that's on your throat. It's clogging up your windpipe.
Yeah.
Which is different than all the other things that clog up that windpipe. But that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, you're right. Some people have like what do they call that? A septum or something
like a deviated
septum.
There's a lot of things that can contribute to it.
There's all kinds of things, but this particularly, in my case, I was too big. I was just too big of a guy, and I don't think I realized how big I was. I don't think
when you look at pictures, you've posted a couple of side-by-side pictures, or I've seen a couple of side-by-side pictures. You've lost it. I mean, 71 pounds is a massive amount of weight.
It's a significant amount of weight, and I'm still like losing. I still have a goal to get down like another 30 pounds before.
I mean, if I hit you with a 70-pound bag of something, I'd kill you.
Yeah,
because I'm very powerful, and I really do swing. I like to step into the swing.
You couldn't lift 70 pounds if your life depended on it.
I can lift 70 pounds.
You can?
Yes.
All right. Let's find something around here that's 70 pounds.
Well, I'm not today. I'm busy working right now.
All right, let's see if you can handle one of those the water cooler things upstairs. Those are 50 pounds.
Listen, I was juggling 40-pound bags of pellets the other day, 3 at a time.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Was
behind my back.
Was your wife helping you the whole time?
Well, I didn't have to explain that part, but sure, yeah.
She had the other end of the bag so you could lift it off the pallet.
Well, I actually said, these bags are too heavy. Honey, why don't you grab them?
I get you. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, that's the benefit of being healthier and taking care of yourself versus, because it's really easy to be depressed and it's really easy to not take care of yourself.
See, and here's the thing about people who have sleep apnea. Yeah, sometimes it's about weight, but there's a lot of people that have a number of conditions that can't be explained in any other way than you are not getting good quality sleep.
Yeah.
You're not breathing, correctly. You're not being oxygenated or whatever it may be. And there's a lot of people that don't even realize that's a possibility until they get that sleep study. And what they learn is, in fact, they are having episodes of sleep apnea. And sleep apnea has been attributed to all kinds of issues, cognitive issues, heart issues, lung issues, you name it. I mean, the body requires a certain amount of sleep and a certain amount of quality sleep. I've gone only 2 nights in the last 20 years without the CPAP, and I felt like absolute garbage the next day because of just what we're talking about. My body felt like it had run a marathon, and I had no restorative sleep at all.
Because you're depriving your brain of oxygen,
right?
Much needed oxygen that keeps you moving all the time.
They're finding, they're finding parallels between sleep apnea and cognition and mood and depression and you name it. Even even inflammation. I mean, you could have parts of your body inflamed simply because you haven't gotten the right amount of sleep and the correct amount of and the correct kind of sleep.
We could probably do a whole show on this because when the Christmas season came around, now I don't eat like I used to eat. I used to eat a lot of sweets. I used to eat a lot of, sugary drinks, things like that. And now I don't do that anymore. But then the holidays came around and, for 2 weeks straight, I'm eating nothing but sugar and cakes. And, everybody brings stuff in here. We get clients dropping cookies off and things like that. And then my joints started hurting again.
Yeah.
And that's from the inflammation from the sugar. And people don't get that. Like, that's a real thing. Like, if you're sluggish and all that stuff, it's because of all that sugar that you're putting into your body. And it's hard to escape because sugar is in almost everything that we consume.
Yeah. Any processed food is going to have a sugar in it.
Right. So, I'm just trying to help people who want to, do this. This didn't happen overnight. It wasn't like a crash diet that I went on. It took a long time for me to get going with it. It probably took me at least 8 weeks starting that Peloton thing to start realizing, hey, I don't want this anymore. I don't want this kind of food. Because your body doesn't crave it anymore when you're actually taking care of it.
Yeah,
so,
but and you're absolutely right. The less you eat and the more you smaller portions, your body doesn't really require much more.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so much controversy about some of these weight loss drugs that are out there.
Yeah.
Some people say, well, that's a lazy way out. No, it's not. Listen, it's not at all.
I don't think there's any universal formula for anyone. I'm just sharing my experience and how this has worked for me. I prefer not to go the drugs route. Like, that's my just personal thing. I don't believe in that. I believe that you can better yourself, and but it takes a while. So anybody who's starting this off for the new year, and then there's a lot of people who fail after a week or two because it's like, oh my God, I can't do this. Slow, small little amounts. It'll eventually get you to a point where you can sustain yourself and not.
That's absolutely true. But for those people that have a hard time even with portion control and exercise, and there's a large amount of the population that they've tried everything and it's still, they still can't get a hold of it. If you combined that with one of those drugs, whether it be Mounjaro or Ozempic or whatever it is. The benefit of that medication on top of that is what really kind of sets apart those who are doing it purely out of vanity and those who are really doing it out of a medical need. And and they're finding that stuff also works for other forms of inflammation and other conditions. And for whatever reason, it's still controversial.
Can you imagine we just had a 14-minute conversation about health?
I know. And not one fart joke. Thank you. I feel so much better.
You're welcome.
624 on Rock 102. Just about 627 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Sunny today with a high of 32. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 33. It is 19 right now in downtown Springfield. Going to see significant snowfall over the course of Saturday afternoon into Sunday. One guy says 6 to 12. The other guy says 1 to 3. We'll see who's got the bigger Doppler, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, what? The guy's got the bigger Doppler is, he's telling everybody all these inflated numbers. I believe the guy who's got 1 to 3 because I think that's the kind of honest assessment that you can get. If Jenna Brown tells me it's 1 to 3, I'm going to believe her as opposed to, Dan Brown. 13 thick inches.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's going to believe that.
13 long, hard inches coming straight out of
it's a
Hampton
whiteout
County.
out there.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Hey, you want to laugh?
Sure.
It's Bax and Nagle's Joke of the Day
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you.
on Rock 102,
I make you laugh.
Springfield's classic rock.
Hey, what were Jeffrey Epstein's last words?
I don't know. What were Jeffrey Epstein's last words?
But I don't want to commit suicide. Because
he wasn't really
Bax and Nagle.
It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thank you, Bax.
You're welcome, Steve.
While there hasn't been much snow this winter, that will likely change this weekend. A winter storm watch has been issued for Saturday afternoon through late Sunday night for heavy snow up to 12 inches in portions of Massachusetts. Wind gusts could reach 40 miles per hour, which could lead to power outages. See, that's the thing. It's not so much the snow. It's about what's blowing the snow around. The 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
Right.
That's the thing that you don't want to get caught up in or have no power at your house.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Something like that. January is starting very winter-like with colder temperatures and the very first chance of plowable snow this weekend. The time frame of the snow is continuing to look like Saturday night into Sunday. There will be a storm along the East Coast, but some still have uncertainty about the exact amount of snow. This could be one of those things where we don't get anything, and it goes right off the coast into...
Well, we've seen over the years, and it's been a number of years, actually, where other areas of the state, they'll get hit, but there's like this strip that, I don't know, that's like comes like right up the valley and or what, that we get spared.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that, that pattern continues because I really have no interest in any kind of snowfall whatsoever.
I don't usually get spared. We usually get hit pretty good up there.
I mean, I prefer to have absolutely no snow, which is strange because I don't know if you know this, but I come from the land of the ice and snow with the midnight sun and the hot springs flow.
My kid went skiing for the first time the other day.
Ugh. Yeah.
And now she's into it.
Yeah.
Oh, why did you have to get into a winter sport?
My kids were into it for a while, too. And they had like a ski club at school.
That's exactly what this is.
Yeah. And, they loved it. They loved going down the slopes. And why not?
Yeah.
Great fun. But my one and only experience skiing was a total unmitigated disaster.
Yeah.
And I never felt compelled to do it again. And I did it in high school, so you're talking about 40 plus years since the last time I got on skis. I'm the kind of guy that really needs to be in the lodge.
Yeah, I just look at it as one of those things that just costs a ton of money. Because my kid's like, yeah, I need new snow pants and a new coat and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, great. I can hear the sound of the ski slopes now. Yeah, that's exactly what they sound like. Look at we had some people let us borrow like a coat and all that stuff because it's a different winter weather.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had much of it. So, like, the kids have grown out of a lot of the stuff that they used to have, the snow pants and whatnot. But then when you're told at the last minute, by the way, you need all this stuff.
Yeah, the kids in the ski club must wear ski pants. Well, how much is that going to cost you?
I don't know, $45. And then another
That's
jacket.
on the cheap end.
Yeah, and then the jacket for another $50.
Again, you're going cheap.
And then some gloves for about $17.99. It all adds up in the end.
But what about the rental of the equipment, Steve?
Actually, you know what? They're going for free. It's
free.
I think a lot of these schools have gotten grants and all that stuff to help stimulate getting kids involved with stuff. So there's this after-school program where they have now where
right.
It's, they have different life skill classes,
sure,
and things like that, and then they have this thing where they get free. It's free for everybody.
See, again, for me, the best kind of outdoor activity in the wintertime is me sitting in a ski lodge next to the fire with a big, woolly sweater and a scarf.
Yeah,
pretending that I'm in between runs on the slopes.
Listen,
when
man,
in fact I never even get outside.
If I have to
drinking hot toddies for hours.
Yeah, if I have to drink up my bring up my drinking issues again, if I will, because I will. I've told you this before.
Oh, yeah,
years ago,
the ski trip.
Yeah, this is the ski trip up to the Rock 102 ski trip to Okemo, I think it was, which was like 2 hours away from here. Is that
yeah?
And I was forced to go on this trip. I'm like, I don't even ski. Why am I going? Well, we need somebody to go along with you, to the listeners on the trip. So I said, okay. So I show up at 5 o'clock in the morning to, I think we left from Max Cap in Chicopee.
Okay.
Get on the bus, drive all the way up to Okemo. And then that other guy that was our promotion before Aaron came along, that guy,
yeah.
Rob.
Yep.
He was kind of like my handler, I guess, for the day. And then, I'm sitting in this lodge for an hour and a half. We get there probably at 9. So then it's 10:30, and I'm like, I'm kind of hungry. And then I'm asking these people around the lodge, I'm like, where's a good place to go eat? And they goes, we have a cafeteria right here. Or you could go down to that lodge opens at 11 o'clock, the bar down at the bottom of the hill. And I'm like, well, let me get myself down there. So I did, and I had it was really good food. They had these open-faced chicken sandwiches.
Okay.
It was I had a buffalo chicken. It was pretty good.
Sure.
It was really good. I also had a couple of beers, and I also had maybe a Jaeger bomb or two.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Well, you were going to be there for hours.
Yeah, and as I'm sitting there having myself a good old time, all the listeners start coming down from the mountain like it's getting towards the end of the day. There's only so much skiing you can do.
I suppose.
Then it's time to get plowed. And then I could proceed to drink many Jaeger bombs.
Yeah, because they're all wanting to buy you Jaeger bombs.
Yeah, and then we have to get back on the bus.
Yeah.
And then the bus gets stuck on the ice, to which I say, I need 4 volunteers to come help me push this bus out of the ice. So we had 4 other drunks coming with me, and we go and we try to push the bus, and we're trying for 15 minutes, and finally the ski resort has this thing to pull people out of the ice because they know that happens all the time. I'm like, look at all that work we put into that.
Yeah. Now you need another drink.
And
we're working so hard.
No, and then I passed out on the bus, and apparently this was when I had sleep apnea. I was snoring so loud.
Yes.
Oh, chemical dependency. What a good time.
So good.
You can have a good time at any ski lodge with a chemical dependency problem. 2 Springfield men were arrested early Thursday morning after a shooting on Dickinson Street where one person was injured. According to Ryan Walsh, officers were called to Dickinson Street for a shot spotter activation around 1:50 a.m. on Thursday. Evidence of a shooting was found in a short time after a gunshot victim walked into Bay State Medical Center. I don't know about you, Chief, but I think these 2 things might be, connected.
Is they whereabouts on Dickinson Street?
No.
Because I used to live on Dickinson. I lived on the I used to call it the Longmeadow Extension end of Dickinson, as opposed to that part of Dickinson. I'm always curious as to which one it's going to be.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an address or anything. But the Real-Time Analysis Center, or RTAC, reviewed city cameras of the area and found a vehicle of interest. Officers found the suspected vehicle nearly an hour after the shooting and attempted to conduct a traffic stop, but the driver attempted to get away. However, the vehicle eventually crashed on Long Hill Street. Police arrested the driver, 24-year-old Antonio Vega of Springfield, and the passenger, 24-year-old Julio Nunez Jimenez of Springfield. A spent shell casing was found in Vega's pocket, and another was found inside the car. Crack cocaine and 2 illegal firearms were also seized, and one was identified as a ghost gun, able to hold 14 rounds of ammunition. The gunshot victim is expected to be okay. Vega has been charged with a slew of charges, and he was currently out on bail from Northampton for assault with a dangerous weapon. And has previous convictions for heroin trafficking and firearms.
Oh, they'd never catch you a second time.
No. Well, I mean, when they let you go. A mugshot of Vega.
Isn't that carte blanche to do whatever crime you can get your hands around?
I don't understand. Like, where is the... I get that you can't hold somebody for longer than whatever, but... Isn't there like a triage system like when we go like to the ER? Like if you have a sore throat,
right,
you're not going to get seen before the guy with the bleeding arm that just walked in. Like he's going to get seen first. Same thing with the court system. The guy who's got all these convictions on it, don't you think you wouldn't let him go, but let the other guy go who just like a shoplifting charge or something like that?
Steve, as you know, we live under a set of rules that dictates that a man is innocent until proven guilty. How do we know that without conviction, he was guilty of any of the things that he is currently on bail for?
True, I guess, but I think if you have...
all we have now are alleged crimes, right?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Now you got your answer.
Yeah, I don't know if I have my answer or not. I don't think we'll ever get the answer.
He sounds innocent to me.
Does he?
Well, if you ignore all that evidence against him, sure.
I'm trying to see.
All that evidence that directly ties him to this particular case and many more.
A swastika was drawn onto a classroom whiteboard at Longmeadow High School and discovered after students returned from winter break, prompting law enforcement to open an investigation with school administration. In a letter to the school committee on January 3rd, Superintendent Marty O'Shea described the swastika as small and faintly drawn and said it was a disturbing and disheartening event. Certainly, racist discriminatory speech of any kind is not consistent with the policies of Longmeadow Public Schools and is not aligned with our commitment to being a learning community that embraces and affirms all student identities and cultures. LPS denounces any acts of hate, racism, or discrimination in any form. O'Shea also reshared a statement that had been previously sent on December 27th, which included resources for school community members to, quote, foster a culture of respect and unity. The statement also said, recent global and national events remind us to stress the importance of protecting students from discrimination based on shared ancestry or ethnic characteristics. I would imagine a place like Longmeadow High School has enough cameras in there to say, let's narrow this down to whoever was in that classroom, especially if they just were on break, you know.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds like the act of some stupid kid, which, could very well be. And I'm sure, like you say, every inch of that school is covered with cameras. It's the Taj Mahal of high schools.
And I'm not saying it's right at all.
No, of course not.
But it is a kid. It's some idiot kid who said, this would be funny if I drew a swastika on the board.
You know what? I just saw this, and we haven't had a chance to talk about it, but I've never seen this before. I thought it was really interesting to see. I was watching TV over the weekend, and I saw a commercial for...
What? Whoa, you're watching TV with commercials? Why don't you just go back to the Stone Age, man?
Well, I don't know if it was... I was watching Hulu at the time. I can't have a choice. But I was watching some level of TV, and there was a commercial on that was like an that had an anti-Semitism message, and to talk about how anti-Semitism is wrong and everything. And it was like, I've never seen something like that. And I was like, I was in full support of the message. I mean, no one should be hating anyone, regardless of what your background may or may not be. But it's like, wow, I have that real. I was surprised to see it, but encouraged to see it because I think it's a good message. But I've never seen anything like that.
Can't. I think that's just the way of the world, though. I think that's just how things have changed. When was the last time you watched TV with commercials in it?
Well, again, I don't have the premium Hulu subscription. I have the one where they drop in commercials every now and then.
Are you telling me the guy who's the co-host of the #1 morning show in Springfield cannot afford the $14.99 for full Hulu without ads?
Steve, you're going to have a hard time maybe taking your big construction meat claws around this concept, but bear with me. It's not a matter of whether I can afford it. It really is more of a matter of, do I choose to afford it? And to be honest, I choose to save a little bit of money from time to time.
See, I have enough friends where I just piggyback off everybody else.
Oh, I do that.
I pay for one.
Oh yeah, no, I do that with with Disney and Apple Plus, and there's a couple others. But as far as the ones that I'm paying for, Netflix and Hulu, Hulu, I'm just not quite ready to dive into the premium service.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Doesn't make me cheap. I'm not a tightwad about things. I mean, I'll leave a big fat tip sometimes I'll leave up to 6%. So
7 on a good day.
But you really got to work for
it,
right? So listen, I'm willing to spend, but not for everything.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today. It's going to be.
We're done.
We're done. That's it. Show's over.
Fair enough.
How can we go on any longer? Maybe we'll do Hollywood Trash again. I don't know. It's going to be sunny with a high at 32 tomorrow. Clouds in the morning and then snow starting in the afternoon. Could see anywhere from 1 to 346 inches, depending on who you're listening to throughout the Pioneer Valley, and a high of 33. It is, I don't know. I don't have the temperature in front of me on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 6:51 in AC/DC with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Sunny today with a high of 32. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 33. But then snow starting late Saturday night into Sunday for a total of 1 to 567 inches, depending on who you're listening to.
I'm going to go with a lower number.
All right, 1.
1 would be fine. I could manage one. Less than 1 would be even better.
All right. Well, there you go.
Like a quarter of an inch. I would love that.
19 in downtown Springfield.
Hey, when we talk about the podcast here on the Bax and Nagle show, a lot of people say, "Oh, I missed your podcast." No, dude, those podcasts go on forever. You can listen to it whenever you damn well feel like it, and they're brought to you by Marcotte Ford. They got your back for sales, service, parts, and rentals. Marcotte Ford in Holyoke. Also, check out Baxy's musical podcast. My guest next week, I'm really excited about this. Angelo Moore from the band Fishbone comes back to the podcast. I've talked to him before. This is a guy who has collaborated with everybody from the Red Hot Chili Peppers to Glenn Stefani to Rick James, George Clinton, Jane's Addiction, and many, many more. Fishbone, maybe one of the best live bands I've ever seen. And we talk in this interview at the Punk Rock Museum in Las Vegas. It's a great interview. You'll be able to hear it starting on Monday at midnight on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and rock102.com. And by the way, follow for all the socials for regular updates. Facebook, Instagram, and TikToks.
All right. Facebook.
TikTok videos have been out.
The TikToks.
The TikToks are out.
I saw your TikTok yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah. Or your first one of the year.
First one of the year, and I'm also adding a lot of graphics and special effects.
Ooh, I like the graphics and special effects.
Yeah.
Look at you learning how to use technology that's been out for 15 years, and, we're just grasping it now.
Oh, I'm like the Tarantino of TikToks.
Yeah, I don't know if what are you going to be holding somebody down with a...
No, I'm going to string you along for 2.5 hours and only give you like some sort of closure in the last 5 seconds.
And, just kill everybody at the end.
Yeah, a lot of violence.
Yeah,
lots of violence.
I got some fun facts for a Friday for you. We finally know why urine is yellow.
What's your best urine story?
A study at the University of Maryland found it gets its color from a specific enzyme created in our gut when old red blood cells get broken down. Okay, fine. I don't want to care about that one. What about this one? Color-corrected photos of Neptune showed its true color for the first time this week. Experts thought it was more deep shade of blue, but it's lighter than they thought. They say it's just a tad less pale than Uranus. And that's not a joke. That's actually
part of the
That's a scientific fact. Is your tad less pale than Uranus, Bax?
Steve, it's interesting you bring this up. I saw this story as well, and I have to tell you, you really got to be in the right position to discover the right hue of Uranus.
Well, you have to study it to plan it. Have you ever studied Uranus so much that you could tell the pale shade?
Well, again, I've never been in the proper position to get a good eyeful of Uranus.
Coming up, Procol Harum in a whiter shade of pale.
We're not playing that.
No, and then let's see. In other space news, the company Astrobotic is gearing up to launch its moon lander on Monday, and if you fill out a form on NASA's website, they'll put your name on the new moon rover they're sending up later this year.
Oh, great.
I wonder if Barry McOckener would love to be on that spaceship. Yes. Or that guy Haywood. The one we talked about there.
Haywood J.
Or Licks Lotzebox.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
We could do a space report. I could. In animal news, a study found.
Or my friend Richard Hertz, from Holden.
Oh, yeah, that guy Richard. I know him. I believe he's from Yarmouth, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
He used to own the Camelot Inn.
Spent a weekend in Dennis once. In animal news, a study found that humans can tell if a chicken is excited or upset based on the sound of its clucks. So if excited, it goes, and if it's upset, it says, "He called me a lady." And then you get a job on the school committee in East Hampton, right? And in cougar news,
yes,
a study found that older women who date younger men are happier and have better sex lives than women who date guys their own age. From the no duh.
Guys your own age are too tired.
And that's the thing. It's like, you get to a certain point where, the chicks can keep going. The guys, you're only good for one round.
Yeah. And then
maybe two.
You need the weekend to reload.
Yeah, they're dating toy boys that are happy and more sexually satisfied than women who are in relationships with men their age. A surprising new study has found. Psychology professors from London Metro University recruited 24 women for their research. Hey, you know what? Go down to Mingles and round up about 24 of them broads. Get some leashes, put them in the cages in the back of the van, and bring them over here to the lab.
Many of them have already been involved in scientific experiments.
Yeah, remember that lab I was telling you about that I had at my house yesterday?
Yeah, right.
Psychology professors, the study found that the cougars scored higher in 3 different surveyed categories, seeming to rebuke the stereotype that age gap relationships are emotionally vapid and fueled only by physical desires. The study questions the preconceived notion that women in relationships with younger men are any less fulfilling or successful than those in similar relationships, the lead researcher Samantha Banbury declared in an academic article, noting that the research examining age gaps relationships is sparse, particularly on women who date younger men. 17 of the women who recruited for the project were cougars, meaning they were dating men between 7 and 10 years younger than themselves.
Wow.
The remaining 7 women in relationships were men with approximately their own age. The surveyed cougars had a mean age of 45, while the other group had
is the meanest age.
Yeah, mean age of... so I'm going for the Pumas.
And you're
65 or older.
And you're not talking about the shoes.
No. Each of the women was subsequently surveyed about their levels of emotional intelligence, sexual efficacy, and subjective happiness.
Oh, that's interesting stuff.
Yeah, sexual self-efficacy pertains to both sexual confidence and satisfaction, while emotional intelligence is described as the ability to perceive and express emotions. I think it was Elaine Boozler. Remember her, the comedian?
I do, yeah.
She had a great bit years ago about dating younger men. And she's like, all they want is boobs and a candy bar. Like, just give it to them, and they'll take it. That's really how
She's not wrong. She's not wrong.
No, I love candy, and I love boobs. That's what I'm saying. It's simple as that.
It's 6:58 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Good people, rock solid service at every Rocky's Ace Hardware.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, there's an adage that if you want to dance, you got to pay the fiddler. You reap what you sow. You made your bed, now lie in it. These are all great life lessons about taking responsibility for one's own actions, regardless of how disgusting and disturbing your actions might be. Why, even the most filthy members of our society could benefit from occasionally accepting some personal accountability from time to time. However, there are some people who, while feeling bad about their past behavior, still hold on to the rare chance of redemption and getting a second chance to prove themselves. For example, look at former Cy Young Award winner Trevor Bauer. At one point, Trevor Bauer was a big, young, right-handed pitcher for Arizona, Cleveland, Cincinnati, and the Dodgers. Today, he's an accused sex offender who looking to make a comeback. Now, you might recall that back in June of 2021, Trevor Bauer was placed on a 324-game suspension after he was accused of sexually assaulting a San Diego woman. Following that news, 2 other women accused Bauer of similar offenses. Last January, the Dodgers chose to release him despite settling that initial case out of court. Yesterday, Trevor Bauer told Fox News that he was reckless and made a lot of mistakes along the way, but despite that, he's hoping to get another chance at pitching at the major league level because, in his opinion, quote, "I'm still one of the best pitchers in the world." Well, that might be true, but as a general rule, Major League Baseball teams get a little bit hesitant when it comes to handing out contracts with potential sex offenders. For example, the Red Sox could use some proven talent in their starting rotation. However, I don't see anybody tripping all over themselves to sign him. Why? After all, he hasn't been technically convicted of anything. Well, I'll tell you why. Because innocent people don't usually have to settle out of court. And while the book on that case may be closed, I'm pretty sure that just about everybody else is pretty sure that you're still a mouth-breathing pervert. And if I'm the owner of a professional baseball team, I'm pretty sure I can find other people to play for me, such as people who are not accused sex offenders, because those are the sort of players that I prefer. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You know, some people wait until after the first big storm to get ready for the snow. Like maybe you get a bag of ice melt or a new snow shovel. And some people prepare well ahead of time. What kind of person you going to be? Doesn't matter, just as long as you understand that the winter storm headquarters, before and after the storm, is at Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
Queen haiku.
It's 7-Eleven with Bax and Nagle, and look who has showed up for the third day in a
my
row. Apparently,
God,
nothing else to do and no comedy shows to promote.
Have you not gotten enough advertising this week?
Look, I just want to remind everybody next Thursday.
What's on the menu for next Thursday?
I don't know yet. I haven't talked to the show. Last night was a delicious chicken stir fry.
Ooh, man, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, thank you to all the listeners that came out. It was another one. It was really, really good front to back.
Well, listen, I could talk about buffet comedy shows for $20 in Chicopee all night long. But,
it's great that you asked.
Yes, but we got other things to do.
Right.
Now, live from the Richard Grieco Studios in East Long Meadow, Massachusetts, it's Open Line Friday!
293-1021. That is the number for Open Line Fridays. Let me establish some rules quickly. No hate speech, no foul language. There are other radio stations in town that much prefer that kind of activity. Not here.
Our New Year's resolution was to talk more about the dinner and comedy show for $20 at Loft Comedy Club.
It's so weird that you guys had the same resolution I did this year.
What are the odds that would happen?
No odds. Well, nobody's even calling right now. And there was somebody calling on the line earlier. I don't know what.
Some guy angry at us and about
please, I hope he calls back.
Coffee cakes.
The coffee cakes are the
transgender agendas.
I think we got somebody. Oh, we got a couple coming through.
Here we go.
Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Steve.
Hello.
Hello. This is Steve. How are you?
Hi,
Good,
Steve.
Steve.
This is Steve.
What can we do for you?
Hey, what's going on with your signal these days? I've noticed that, like on 91, as I'm going north, I can't hear you at all. It's all breaking up. Is something Has something changed recently?
Where are you on 91?
Right around Holyoke.
Oh, well, they don't like us up there anyway, so they jam the signal.
I don't know. I've heard a couple people say that there's some things going on the signal. I'm pretty sure it's being handled by our top-notch men.
Yeah, yesterday I was climbing the pole up there. I climbed the antenna. Everything looks good.
Good.
So I would check the antenna on your car first, Steve.
Yeah. That's.
Just making sure that we're still going to be able to get you guys.
Oh yeah, no, don't you worry, don't you worry, and that's coming directly from Chief Engineer Marty Caproni.
As long as he's on it.
Oh, he's on it.
Thanks for the call.
All right, thank you, Steve. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
This is Tony Fountain. How you doing?
Good, Tony.
What's up?
I'm just calling to 102's Open Live Friday.
You are live on the air right now, Tony.
It's beautiful that I'm live on the air right now. So I was just calling to let y'all know I was trying to call earlier, but I was dialing the wrong number. There was an accident going over Mountain Road. If anybody was going that way, it might be a long wait.
All right. Thank you, Tony. We appreciate the update.
Cool.
Thanks. All right, thank you. There we go. See, it's open like anything, really. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
It's the Hawkman, guys. How you doing?
Hey. Hawkman.
What's up, Hawkman?
Hey, I just wanted to wish you guys a happy New Year, and I can't wait for when the four of us can go skydiving this New Year.
Oh my God,
that's your bucket list, right?
You realize how dangerous it is to skydive, Hawkman?
Oh, what are you, chicken all of a sudden?
That stuff will paralyze you.
Yeah, you can. It goes wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe that would unparalyze me. You never know.
I don't think that's how it works, Steve. I don't think that's
Wasn't Johnny Dangerously where the guy kept getting hit in the head with the stack of newspapers and he was blind and then he could see again?
Right, yes.
It's kind of like what Hawkman is talking about. You fall to the ground and you're quadriplegic and then all of a sudden you can walk again.
I jumped out of an airplane once. Once.
Wait. Hold on. Beep, beep, beep. I'm a quadriplegic?
Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
Back up. When did that happen?
I don't know. We could talk about that all day long, but
yeah.
I think skydiving is probably out.
Oh, well, I think me, Bax, and Marty need to do it, and I don't know.
You know what,
all
Steve?
three of us can do
If you really want to go skydiving, we'll do that thing I took my kids to where you go inside the chamber and the fan blows you up in the air. You'd look like one of those wacky inflatable fun guys. Like on the side of like telling you to come in for a business.
Hey, before we go,
I don't think those fans are strong enough to lift my...
You never know.
Hawkman, let's start small. Before we go skydiving, how about we just take a regular flight and you see if you can sit in the exit row where they ask you if you can handle the door in a case of an emergency.
If you can do that, we can take you skydiving.
Oh, wait, I can fly the plane. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect.
There's nothing you can't do. All right, we got to go. Thank you very much for the call, Hawkman. Have a great weekend.
Happy New Year, guys.
All right, you too. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, Al from Glastonbury, Connecticut. How you guys doing today?
Yeah,
good, Al. What's up?
Not much, man. I just want to say I appreciate you guys, man. You guys have a great morning show. I leave like an hour before I got to go to work to sit in my car to listen to you guys all day. So.
Oh, well, thanks, man.
Thank you very much.
You guys do.
What do you do for work?
I just want to say I work at Goodwill.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Hey, what tag is 50% off today, Al?
It's blue.
Blue tag.
Blue
All right.
tag. All right. All right, Al. Well, you have a great weekend. Appreciate you listening.
I do.
You too, fellas. Thank
All
you.
right. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, this is Scott.
What's up, Scott?
I was just calling to say I'm one of the guys that works on Steve's chair, the Hawkman's chair,
Yeah.
and I just want to give him a shout out and his family because they're just a great bunch of people.
Can you put a backpack and a parachute and a ripcord on that?
Yeah. We could probably rig something up for him.
All right. Yeah.
I will say that the chair is a masterful piece of engineering.
Yeah,
it really is.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's a lot of money in there.
Yeah.
What has he got under the hood in that thing? Is it like 454 dual barrel? Dual barrel? Is that fuel injector? What has he got in that thing?
He's get a fuel-injected 537 Hemi.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
So I was thinking it's more like a small block, Briggs and Stratton with a pull start on it.
That's what got him into this mess.
Yeah, right. All right. Thanks for the call. All right. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
It's Dave Coombs from 99.3 Laser.
Well, what's up, Dave Coombs?
Down the hall.
Hey, I got a joke for you.
All right.
Oh, boy.
What does a man with a 1-inch penis have for breakfast? I had a bagel and a coffee.
There you go. I got a buddy who's
Love
in
you.
All right. Thanks for the call. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
What does a man with a 1-inch
Hey, good morning. This is Wallace from Connecticut, the plumber.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, what are these plumbers?
All right, I got a knock-knock joke.
All right, go for it.
All right, so knock-knock.
Who's there?
Seymour.
Seymour what?
Seymour Butts.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You plumbers got to really up your game.
I don't know, man. That's a good. Yeah, that's a well-rounded joke.
I got one for you. This is a plumber one. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Hepatitis.
Hepatitis who?
Hepatitis. Hey! Thanks for the call.
Thanks for the call. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Bill, the video game hunter from Agawam.
Hey, Bill. How are you?
Good. I just finally found a reason to move to Holyoke is that the signal from the morning show won't be up there.
Well done.
See, everybody's lucky day comes along eventually.
That's right. There's a silver lining in every silver city.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's going to be a happy new year.
Yes, it will.
Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Hello, this is Debbie. How are you?
Hey, Debbie.
Very good, Debbie. How are you?
Good. So, I was unable to come to the show when Marty came down to Connecticut a couple of weeks ago, and I'd love to see you two guys in person. Are you coming back to Connecticut?
Well, you know what? We've been talking about that this week. We need to go find these venues. If anybody knows of a good venue that we could book out, let us know via email, steve@rock102.com.
Down there in Connecticut. What's that email again, Steve?
Steve@rock102.com.
Okay.
Whereabouts in Connecticut are you?
I'm in Plainville, which is kind of about 15, 20 minutes out of Hartford.
Okay. All right.
So it wouldn't be that far for me to come up to see you in Massachusetts, but it would have been so convenient if I could have made it that night.
Well, that's what we're trying to shoot for, because we know we got a lot of listeners down there that would like to go see a comedy show once and go, why did we ever go see these guys?
I think the two of you should try to accommodate all of her needs. That's what I would think you should do.
Well, she has a very pleasant voice.
She does. She
That'd be great, Bax. Thank you.
It's absolutely. Listen, I'm just trying to make things convenient for you.
Yeah, we could do it right in your living room.
You got a garage?
That'd be even better.
You got a garage? We could set up some staging outside the garage, and it's right beneath underneath the basketball hoop.
Hey guys.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
I don't want to move this call along, but this thing's costing us $1.99 a minute. So.
Yeah, right over the state line.
Okay, nice talking to you.
Thank you. Have a good
When you hit
weekend.
Enfield, those rates go up.
Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What's up?
My blood pressure's up.
All right.
Hey, anyways, I got a plumber joke for you.
Oh, another
Okay,
one.
all right, a plumber joke.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
We're waiting for you.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm just trying to make I was going to be a plumber, but I got all backed up.
That was so worth the wait.
Yeah, that was good. That's good. All right, listen, we got the other calls. Oh, I'm sorry. I picked up another one. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, Scott.
No, Scott's not here. What can I do for you?
Okay, so this is Scott.
Okay, hey, Scott.
Oh, hey,
What's
Scott.
up?
Hey, if there's three comedians at The View, which one's funnier?
Is this a joke, or is this you're just asking a question?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's the answer?
Who cares? Everybody's picking their face with a $20 plate.
There's the best joke of the week
I'm
right
thinking
there.
of the four of us. I'm thinking that guy right there.
You
Yeah.
go.
All right.
All right, one more?
Yeah, one
Just
more.
for the hell of it?
What the hell?
Okay, Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Good morning. It's Terry from Munson.
Hello, Terry. What's up?
Hey, are you still taking jokes?
Yeah, go ahead, Terry.
What's the difference between a garbanzo bean and a chickpea?
One of
It's a
my
classic.
favorites.
It's a classic,
This
but
is one of my favorite. We'll let you finish it. Go ahead.
Okay, Nagle's never had a garbanzo bean on his face.
That's right.
Pow! There you go. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good day.
All right, you too. Well, I'll tell you what. That's a very successful Open Line Friday.
That was the worst tasting hummus I've ever had.
I didn't even know R. Kelly's mom lived in Munson. That's incredible.
It's not hummus. It's pronounced bummus.
Bummus.
That's what they get out in Munson.
It's 724 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's 726 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown will give you the forecast because he's so good at it.
Marty Caproni is here with us, and you should know that Rock 102 and Aquapump are giving you a chance to hit the slopes this winter. Sign up at rock102.com for your chance to win a pair of lift tickets to any number of area ski resorts. Berkshire East, Wachusett, Bolton Valley, and many more. We'll choose one winner per week. Your chance to hit the slopes brought to you by Aquapump and Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
There's a new restaurant opening in Holyoke Mall.
Oh, I saw that.
The Monsoon Bistro.
What is that?
It's where the old Ruby Tuesdays used to be.
Goodbye, Ruby Tuesdays. Hello, Monsoon Bistro.
Okay.
Southeast Asian restaurant opened its doors inside the Holyoke Mall yesterday. The soft opening was announced by the Holyoke Mall and is located at the former Ruby Tuesday on the upper level near Macy's. New restaurant is locally owned and offers traditional Chinese, Thai dishes such as dim sum, drunken noodles, mango chicken, and red curry fish and more.
How about that?
Wow.
I like good, like gourmet Asian food, like Asian cuisine.
Yes,
you know it's different than like the fast food, like Chinese food.
Yeah,
who's your go-to
for Chinese?
Yeah,
Chinese would be the Peacock over here on Allen and Cooley Street.
Okay,
that place is awesome, and they're redoing the whole place inside. Did you see that?
They are, really?
Yeah, it looks like a modernized restaurant now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's.
Well, we need to go back.
We definitely need to.
The last time we were there, we were all filled with hope.
And we had a buddy.
We had a buddy with us.
With. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that place is really good. But I like Japanese stuff too.
I would say that maybe the best Asian restaurant, and I'm saying Asian because I mean this is. It's in the neighborhood, but not specifically Chinese or Japanese. Is Faux Saigon at the X? I think that place is
I had lunch
phenomenal.
there.
Never been there.
You've never been there?
No.
Oh my God!
I had
so good.
This like some kind of soup there.
You had the pho.
Is it pho?
Pho Saigon. Yeah.
Was it with pork and beef and all that stuff?
And with a lot of like vermicelli noodles and stuff.
A lot of noodles in there.
Oh, most amazing soup I've ever had in my life.
Kiyomi in Chicopee. You got to try that one. You never been to Kiyomi?
I don't think I have.
Buddy.
Really?
Kenny at Kiyomi, this guy. He's got it dialed in. It's right on Grattan Street.
Yeah.
Or Thai Place in South Hadley.
I used to like Ginger Blossom, but that closed.
That's closed.
That was a good place too.
Where's that?
That was right in 16 acres.
Right behind Wings Over Springfield.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
In that little plaza there.
Yeah. I know the plaza.
Closed a couple of years ago. I think pandemic kind of ruined that for them. But yeah, the Golden Peacock, or is it the Golden? It's just Peacock.
It's just the Peacock.
The Golden Peacock is in Westfield.
Right.
You know, that really got me. This is going back like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I put in an order for the Peacock because I Googled it because I was here. It was like 6 o'clock at night. And I'm like, I'll order some food and I'll bring it home. And I go to the Peacock and I realize they don't have my order. And then I look at my Google. I ordered from the Westfield Golden Peacock.
So you had to drive all the way to Westfield?
Which is, I was going that way anyway.
Oh, okay.
But it was just the idea that I wanted a specific item from this place, and they didn't have it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
We were, many years ago, when Jenny and I were still dating, before we got married, I think we were eating at Leone's, and we were, out there, and she said, "You ever tried the Golden Peacock?" I said, "Is that anything like a Blumpkin or a rusty trombone?"
Yeah, it is.
She didn't think that was funny at all.
And I'm surprised she still married you.
I know. That's hard to believe.
Yeah.
I guess I bring it to the table in other ways.
Yes, but not in that area.
Both of which duck sauce really crucial.
Yeah, I got it. I don't need the duck sauce.
You don't take the duck sauce?
I don't use the duck sauce.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, listen.
I'm really glad we had this conversation.
Oh, you have no idea. We got news next on Rock 102.
Here's your
7:33 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. A Northampton man charged with shooting at his neighbors with an AK-47 style gun and then blaming his dog remains held without the right to bail at Bridgewater State Hospital. Well, who would have thought?
What's going on with the dog?
The dog told him to do it. He shot through the walls of the duplex and luckily didn't injure anybody. But he did tell him that the dog told him to do that.
Yeah, but so who is the dog at Thomas Joe? Like, you can't just let the dog go free after that.
No.
Well, I mean, if the dog is talking,
he's an accessory before the fact.
Did he cut a deal?
He rolled over.
Yeah.
He rolled over
for immunity.
29.
I'll talk all day.
29-year-old Joshua Martinelli of Northampton pleaded not guilty on Friday, December 8th to a total of 17 charges in Northampton District Court in connection with a shooting where residents inside an apartment on Wright Avenue were shot at through the walls with 14 rounds.
Holy cow.
Martinelli reportedly told police after the shooting that his dog Biggie had told him to shoot at the neighbors.
Bad dog.
Bad Biggie. Biggie.
Baby.
Can't you see? The gunfire narrowly missed the four neighbors inside their apartment and no injuries were reported. That was like the miraculous part of that. This guy just started randomly shooting through the walls. One of the residents had like a tear on their jeans from one of the bullets.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's crazy. On Tuesday, Northampton District Court Judge Janine Simonian ordered Martinelli held for another 6 months at Bridgewater for further mental evaluation. A court hearing is set for April 2nd to revisit Martinelli's mental competency to stand trial.
All right, this is a frightening story. It's a very, very scary story. But I got to tell you, I can't get my dog to get off the couch. Never mind try to give me a convincing argument for gunplay.
Every time you say I have to tell you, I know it's going to be something ridiculous.
What's ridiculous about that?
Yeah, no, nothing. The dog rolled over on him.
Yeah.
Not even for a promise of reduced time, just for
listen. You can't
just
trust
for two milk bones.
You cannot trust these animals. Like you just you can't. They're man's best friend, but then they'll do
their man's best friend until prosecutors start asking questions.
Yeah.
He totally did this all on his own.
Well,
I didn't tell him to do that.
Do any of your best friends scoot on the carpet? I don't think none of mine do. I can tell you that right now.
Well, I was thinking about
they'll be kicked out of the house. What are you doing to my carpet?
I was thinking about that the other day. I arrived home to find that the locked up trash was not locked up, and the trash was again strewn throughout the house. Now, the thing is, it's not like he just knocks the trash can over.
No,
he drags it through the house.
Yeah.
So then it's like 52 card pickup with the trash. What kind of my best friends don't do that. Nobody comes over my house and empties the trash can all over.
You're right.
Brings,
You're absolutely right. Listen, I could take a carpet to Superior Carpet Cleaning right there on Cottage Street, loaded with skids, and they're going to say, what happened? Had my best friend over.
Had my best friend over. Sometimes, we start drinking and
he starts scooting.
Yeah. My dog's the worst roommate ever.
You got a lab, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
he wants to get into everything.
Yeah.
He just wants to play ball. He wants to eat trash, and he wants to give you the middle finger and tell you, look what I did. Now pet me because I'm cute, you bitch. A local community who has helped house 12 bunnies that were found abandoned in the Wilbraham Woods last week, and it all started from a Good Samaritan who stopped to rescue the rabbits during her afternoon hike. Maureen Callahan told Mass Live on Friday the community really pulled together to get the word out, and the experienced bunny people came forward to support. The Wilbraham resident was walking her dog at Fountain Park when, at around 4 p.m. on Thursday the 28th, she noticed several animals hopping in and out of the base of a crate. As she got closer, Callahan realized it was a box of 12 bunnies that she believed someone had abandoned in the woods. I put the word out on the Wilbraham Forum page, and people have been very responsive, which is unusual because usually people on the Wilbraham Forum are complaining about something that has no relevance to the town whatsoever.
Yeah.
I've been reaching out to as many bunny rescues as I can. On Thursday, yesterday. Callahan said all of the bunnies have either been taken by animal shelters or people who responded to her post. One of the people was Samantha Quesnell, another Wilbraham resident. I took in the 2 females that may be pregnant. And I heard Steve Nagle's got a bunny. They're also so sweet and docile, and I'm so mad that these babies were left out there like that. What kind of scumbag does that? Like, listen, these animal shelters are, yes, they're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But it's a better fate to bring them to an animal shelter than it is
put them in a
to
box, leave them outside.
Woods.
Yeah, who do you think you are, Hugh Hefner? Sorry. Sorry for that.
But even he was better to his bunnies.
Much better to his bunnies. But, people are just jerks.
Can they say bunnies in a news story, or are you supposed to say rabbit? Or
You can say bunnies.
Or am I splitting hairs?
Here we go.
Stay. I'll be here all week.
I have another animal story.
Sure, 2 animal stories in the same newscast? What is this,
3.
amateur hour?
This is 3.
Maybe we just thinking about getting
We had the dog.
I didn't hear that.
This is the 3rd story in a row. Dog with a gun.
Yeah.
Now
Bunnies
rabbits.
in a box.
And now
And now what do we got?
Well, the dog he didn't go to the range.
No, but he clearly was gaslighting this guy up.
He didn't have to go to the range. He was a natural. He was a hunting dog.
He's like, oh, man, I think these people are poisoning you. Why don't you just take your gun and shoot them then? Go ahead, right through the walls. Go ahead, do it. I dare you. I double dog dare you. I double dog dare you. I triple dog dare you. This is about canines from the police departments. On Mr. Warner's last day of work, he helped apprehend an armed suspect who had just shot at police officers and barricaded himself inside a home. His retirement came 2 hours later. It wasn't as carefree as everyone had hoped. 2 weeks later, the police dog who served with the department for 8 years fell ill with a large mass on his hip.
Oh.
That led to a series of veterinary visits while the mass continued to grow, hurting the dog and requiring a series of surgeries, according to Eric Blair, the canine officer for Mr. Warner. We were draining our savings, Blair said. Treatments cost more than $10,000. Blair and his wife Carmela started a GoFundMe account that helped pay the bills. Charities that focus on animal care also helped to step up. It's a mix. This article goes on to say it's a mixed bag who gets to take care of the vet bills after the dog then retires.
Well, this shouldn't have been included in this contract with the union?
I don't understand why you wouldn't continue to pay for the care, because you got to remember that dog becomes like the partner of whoever the officer is, and you know, as crazy as it may sound to some people, there's a bond between that dog and that officer.
Sure, but more importantly, listen, like if somebody, and I agree with this law, but if somebody like hurts a dog, like when they're trying to apprehend him, they get charged like they assaulted an officer or killed an officer.
Sure.
Same thing, right? So if you're going to use that logic, wouldn't you use the logic that if that officer was retiring and was sick, wouldn't the force have to take care of them? Like, wouldn't the officer have benefits?
I'm sure there are benefits for every retired officer.
Right. So why should that dog not have the same thing if you're going to view it as an officer?
That's why I'm telling you the dog needs to talk to his union rep to make sure those kinds of provisions are in the next collective bargaining agreement.
Sometimes you have to have rough conversations. All right. Hey. Try the veal, $20. We'll see you in events.
Well, the good news is on yesterday, State Representative Carlos Gonzalez, the chairman of the Joint Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security, and State Representative Steven Ziaros of Barnstable joined with Springfield Police and Mayor Dom Dom to promote a bill legislators are drafting that will ensure health costs of police dogs that are funded after they retire.
Here we go. See that? Good.
Yeah, Dakota's bill was named for a canine that responded to the 2013 Boston Marathon bombings and suffered PTSD so severe it was recommended that the dog be euthanized. An animal rehabilitator stepped in to care for the dog, which is now featured in a movie that promotes the law. So,
yeah, good.
Well, the bad part is the dog has to do all the paperwork.
See, that's the part. Yeah,
and I know my dog's never been good at paperwork.
That'll make you stop and think, give you a pause. Sorry.
Man, look at this guy coming out with a bang, zing, 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 bow, chow, chow, wow, 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 wowie, ow.
That's quite a tale.
For 10 years, the Westfield Historical Commission has hosted the historic ghost tours in the old burying ground, but not last fall, as commissioners opted to plan a January event instead, and not this month, as the plan recently changed again. Originally, it was supposed to be a murder mystery, but sadly, the woman who writes the murder mysteries for the Women's Club, who had volunteered to do for us, suddenly died about 3 weeks ago. Commissioner Chair Cindy Gaylord said in December, referring to playwright Marion Dunk with the Westfield Theater Guild. Gaylord went on to say, "We just feel it's too soon to do something together without her this year. However, there will be a murder. One of the ghosts will have been murdered, and we'll be presenting some of the story of the murder for people to try to figure out who murdered that person."
Did you say murder?
Murder? Instead of a tour through the graveyard with reenactors portraying the notable people buried there, and instead of an interactive murder mystery production with the audience as detective, attendees of the February 2nd and 3rd performances at First Congregational Church will meet ghosts of people from Westfield's history spanning the late 1600s to the 1950s. People will come in and sit in the corner of the church, and they're in the center of the church. Then the lights will go down, and at one time, a spotlight illuminated ghost who's up on the balcony of the choir loft, and the reenactor will tell his or her historical figure story.
Wow, fun!
Wow, that's a big time thing going on there.
That is quite the story.
Well, hey, you know what? I like to end with some Wang Pow stories.
You did it
about
today.
Ghosts.
You just picked that because you love saying ghost.
I do love saying ghosts. And
you would have gotten away too if it weren't for those meddling kids and their dog.
That's Mike McCabe at the end. And I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't. These trucks wouldn't have been going through my town. By the way, I was driving through Westfield yesterday through Route 202 to the Hampton Ponds area.
Yeah.
Because they have this detour now. I don't know if you heard about this detour.
I heard about the detour a little bit. But
and Mike McCabe over in Westfield is PO'd about that.
That's the mayor, the sheriff mayor, who's like, not in my town.
General Patton, I like to call him.
Yes.
Any one of you sons of bitches ever stick your hand in a truck engine and pull out the guts? Not in my town. But there's signs all up and down Route 202, like going towards 70s. And it's like, get rid of the trucks, no more trucks. I'm like, it's a state highway. Like, what are you going to do? Like, you have to reroute traffic, and it's only temporary.
Here's the weird part, too. Like, all the like if you get rid of the trucks, all those places that you like to go, like the grocery store.
Yeah.
They're not going to have a lot of stuff on the shelf.
That's what I'm talking about. Trucking is the backbone of this country.
Yeah.
It's how we get goods delivered.
That's right. If you're out there in a big wig, give us a little ha-ha.
Yeah. Let's do a ha-ha right now. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be sunny with a high of 32. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 33. Then snow could possibly start anywhere from 1 to 9,000 inches, depending on who you're listening to. It's 18 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock at 7:52, and Neil Young with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Sunny today with a high of 32. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high of 33. And then Snowmageddon 2024 rears its ugly head from 1 inch to 364 inches. We don't know.
Rock 102 is bringing you New England Patriot football all season long, but this weekend is the end of it. Sunday, January 7th, the Patriots wrap up their regular season against the Jets. As it turns out, the Jets will be wrapping up their regular season, too. The live pregame begins at 10 a.m. with the kickoff scheduled for 1. You'll hear all the action with Bob Sochi and Scott Zolak as they bring you all the play-by-play action. The Patriots will play here for one more week on Rock 102.
This coming Sunday is notable, not just because the Patriots are playing.
Because of the snow?
No. And not just as the absolute deadline for taking down your Christmas tree. Have you taken down your Christmas tree yet? What?
There's a deadline for taking down your Christmas tree now?
Well, it's kind of past the expiration date. Once the Epiphany happens, you can take that tree down on the 6th.
Jenny and I were actually discussing leaving the tree up year-round.
Right.
It makes us happy.
Yeah.
You know, it's a beautiful tree. It's the beautiful, fakest tree you've ever seen.
Well, according to Tinder, the first Sunday in January is Dating Sunday, the busiest day of the year for online dating. On Dating Sunday, they see an extraordinary surge in people updating bios, uploading photos, sending messages, and responding to them. In fact, Tinder said that people respond to messages 19.4 minutes faster on Dating Sunday than any other Sunday of the year.
Well, weren't you just saying that you needed to upload some brand new, fresh D pics for your profile?
Well, yes, because once you lose that amount of weight, you grow by like a half an inch.
Yeah. And you know why hold on to that mystery all by yourself?
They used to say that for every 10 pounds,
20 pounds.
For every 20 pounds, you gain an inch.
Yeah.
And I used to say, my new weight loss goal originally was 50 pounds, but I've revised it to 320 pounds.
I now have a full 1.5 inches now.
That's great. Wow.
They didn't say why, but it's probably a mix. Fresh starts of the new year, New Year's resolutions, and the start of a more available period after months of the holidays, gatherings, and being around other couples. By the way, this isn't just Tinder. A few years back, someone from Match called Dating Sunday the Super Bowl of dating apps.
Ugh. It sounds like so stupid. It sounds like one of those stories that's not a story that they try to make up a holiday to try to push their crap with
like
free
these
publicity.
dating apps said, here, put out the story.
Yeah.
That, this Sunday is the...
Aren't a lot of these dating apps all owned by the same company?
That's what my guess.
You know, they just divide it up into different genres or subgroups or whatever it is.
Hey, business is slow. It's January. It's cold. Everyone's in their house. What are we going to do? All right, we're going to make a holiday. It's Dating Sunday. What do you guys think of that? Yeah, right.
I totally believe something like that has actually occurred.
100%.
I'm on a dating app there for women to find sperm donors. It's called Batch.com.
Lord. Good gravy.
Okay.
Anyhow.
Moving along.
It's 7:56 on Rock 102. No shovel if you need it. Or get some power equipment. You never know. Winter Storm headquarters before and after the storms is at Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:09 and Led Zeppelin with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. Marty Caproni is here again. Third day in a row. I don't know what the hell that's really all about, but it's good to have you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I feel like one of those cats in your neighborhood that it's not your cat, but you leave a little food out for, and then it just keeps coming back.
And then you wonder, isn't there a proper owner for this cat?
And you're like, why did we feed this thing in the first place?
Why am I the one on the hook to be responsible for this cat? Cat won't leave.
That's it. It's
going to be sunny today, a high of 35. Tonight, a few clouds, low of 21. Tomorrow, cloudy, high of 36. Sunday's when the storm is about to start. And depending on who you want to believe, the Weather Channel told me this morning 1 to 3 inches.
Yeah, and then other people are like, it's going to be 6 to 12. It's not going to be. We haven't had 6 to 12 inches in I don't know how long, right?
Well, I mean, there's always a possibility that maybe things change and we do get hammered. But there's so much inconsistency in all of these forecasts that you have to wonder, well, does anyone really have any insight into what is true and what is just garbage? Because frankly, everyone's all over the place on this one.
I should realize that I should be responsible because I'm in a public place on a public platform, and I should qualify this by saying I in no way have any meteorological experience or qualifications. But I'm an Occam's razor guy. What's the most plausible explanations? Is it that we're definitely getting a storm, or is it that we haven't had one, so our friends at the weather channels and the news medias, they need to trump up something to get people to get all excited to buy stuff and do all that?
Now, there are outlying areas that are going to get hit, but that's not me living in there, so I'm more concerned about what is going to be in front of me. And I can tell you this. What's going to be in front of me is a driveway with not enough snow to pull the snowblower out.
That's the worst decision. Do you shovel or do you blow?
I have blown snow like at 2 inches.
Really?
Because I'm just too lazy to.
That's the epitome of lazy.
I only bring it out because when the plows come, they just push everything into the bottom of your driveway. There's no technology where that's unavoidable.
And then if the plow driver doesn't like the way you look for some reason, they'll do the extra sweep just after you do it, just on purpose, just to exercise that power. You know,
I do wonder how much of that is just intentional, deep-set, sublime aggression. You know, just, I'll teach these little bastards.
Listen,
and I will put so much snow at the end of your driveway.
I talked to a plow driver before, and he told me that there are times that he does that because it's fun. He was like, you were out, I'm doing 12 hours plowing.
Yeah.
And sometimes I need to have a little fun for myself. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, sometimes.
There was 1 year we had a bunch of snow, and I was living at Forest Park.
Yeah.
Okay, right on Dickinson Street. And I had a driveway, and I didn't have a snowblower at the time.
So you're shoveling by default.
I'm shoveling. And I started at the garage and then worked my way towards the street.
Yeah.
And I probably had 4, maybe 5 more feet to go before I was going to be done. Well, I think there were some people that knew where I lived and thought it would be hilarious.
Oh, what a great practical joke.
To dump another 9 feet of snow at the bottom of my driveway. Now, I'm sure the guy was laughing. Because here I am
100%.
Clearly so close to finishing.
100%.
And here's the guy that just gave me about 2.5 more hours worth of work.
Yeah. And then, he tells his buddies, we went by Bax's house and I plowed him in.
Yeah, the guy with the radio. He's never going to get out. So, and that's how it works. That's how I think that's a fully intentional act of aggression.
Yeah. My feeling with this storm, everyone's freaking out about it, is that it's going to be nothing. That's my feeling.
Are you old enough to remember the big one?
It's 1978, the blizzard. Yes, I do.
You're old enough to remember that?
I was 4.5 years old, something like that. And I remember that the snow was so high, my father had to shovel his way to the shed to get the snowblower.
Yeah.
And then he did the coolest thing for us. He snowblowed in all these paths around the yard.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my brother and I running in the paths, and you couldn't even see us because it was taller than us.
Yeah, so we had a real long driveway.
Yeah.
And we always had our next-door neighbor plow our driveway. We had a great next-door neighbor. The guy would do everything for us. It was just a super-duper super guy. But he got stuck maybe 1,000 yards away from our house.
Just trying to get through.
With his big, giant truck and the plow. He actually had to stay at a neighbor's house for 2 days because there was no way to get
to his house
1,000 yards away from this house to his own house.
You know how crazy that is?
No one could believe that today,
right.
But it absolutely happened. He was stuck at He was stuck at the Silverman's house for a couple of days. The Silvermans were not easy people to stay with, to be quite honest with you. I think for me, 4-minute blocks are about as much as I could take of the Silvermans, and it was mostly Mrs. Silverman. Mr. Silverman was a very nice man, but Mrs. Silverman was it was just way too much. And my neighbor Paul was able to endure at least a day and a half, maybe 2 days with the Silvermans. I mean, you want to talk about a guy who suffered as a result of the big one in 1978.
That poor guy.
Poor bastard.
We don't have the storms like that anymore, really, but other parts of the country, when I travel, like Rochester.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember in Rochester, just a few years back, this is right before the pandemic, we were doing morning radio. I got in on a Thursday. We were doing Friday morning radio.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday was fine. It was just starting to flurry. It was like, okay. Woke up 5 in the morning or whatever to go do was the Brother Weeze show and all that stuff in Rochester. And there was 4 feet and it was still snowing. It was coming down like a foot an hour. It was like the craziest. And I was like mind blown about this. And the guy who's awesome, the guy Mark who owns the comedy club.
Yeah.
He picks us up at the Holiday Inn in this giant truck with the big plow on it. But this guy, and he's like, yeah, no, we're still on. We're doing radio. We're doing TV this morning. We're doing it. I said, is anyone even going to come to the shows? He's like, this is nothing. I go, 4 feet of snow is nothing? Are you mental? He's like, Dude, everyone here is used to it. We don't get panicked until it's like 5-6 feet.
Well, because they got all that lake effect snow.
That's what it is.
All those cities and towns by the Great Lakes get hammered.
Right. But it just goes to show you what you're conditioned to. Because in our youth, a snowstorm meant 1.5 feet of snow. Then you had a snowstorm.
Yeah.
6 inches of snow, you were like, are we gonna have to go to school? Are we gonna get like 2-hour delay? Now they're like, it might snow tomorrow. What? School's canceled. Everything's canceled. We're moving everything around. Oh my God. Blah blah blah. Make sure you go to the store, get your bread, milk.
My dad used to be a school social worker in Rhode Island, and so he worked in the Warren Bristol School Department.
Oh, okay.
in Rhode Island.
So he had to drive from Attleboro, like all the way past
Providence.
Yeah,
so
all
like
the way down,
when I was a kid, so like from Rehoboth to Warren, not a terrible drive. It's good 35 minutes, whatever it is. Anyway, the Dighton Rehoboth school system was always one of the very first ones to cancel, and they never canceled in Warren Bristol. So I would get the day off,
and your dad would,
and my dad would have to go
swearing.
in. And I would laugh and laugh and laugh right in his face. And then he would hand me a shovel, and he would laugh and laugh and laugh right in my smug little face.
And now, look at you. Now
I
now you have to come hell or high water.
Yeah, and now I just say, well, then to hell with it. I'm just going to let it melt in the driveway and drive through it with my truck.
You nailed it last year. The one storm that we had last year, you were on vacation, and I was filling in for you. It was like the first time I filled in.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
And I called Nagle at like 4 a.m, and I'm like, hey, man, are we doing this? He's like, yeah, we have to. I go, we have to? And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, we're essential. I was like, essential for what? He's like, no, because people turn to the radio to find out what's canceled, what's not, what the weather conditions, the traffic, blah, blah. We're driving here. I mean, this drive could take me like 12 to 14 minutes if I'm really moving and there's no traffic and no school stuff and everything else. It took me like an hour and 10 minutes or something to get in.
Easily. Yeah.
At least.
Well,
it took Nagle even longer.
Yeah. But, the thing that people have to understand is, we have to be the ones to drive through horrific weather issues to tell everybody it's too dangerous to drive, stay home.
That's what I was going to say. We're sitting here like two jerks. We sliding off the road and we're sitting here like two jerks being like, whatever you got to do, it can wait. Do not drive.
Right. But, the role has changed a little bit because, many years ago, before there was the internet or robocalls or anything like that, the only way to learn about a school cancellation was on the radio or television.
Yep.
But now every school system gets that robocall from the superintendent of school saying school's closed or we'll have a 2-hour delay. Everyone gets the message. They don't have to listen to us. But it doesn't mean I can't not be here because someone's got to touch the buttons and the knobs and
do all the stuff
and do to tell everybody that they can get all their snow removing equipment at Rocky's Ace Hardware. Everyone needs to hear that.
And once John Quill left us, that was it. You guys became the de facto choice to find out what was open or not open.
How sad is that?
I used to love
that we became your number one source of information.
I used to love watching John Quill to find out if school got canceled. You know what I mean? He was he'd be on TV. Towards his later years, it'd be fun because he would forget and he would wear like a green suit or a green tie. And he'd be in front of that green screen, and the storm would be right on his suit. And he'd be like, "This is high pressure. Oh, look at this! The high pressure's right over here."
His head would be floating over the Holyoke Range.
Exactly.
It's 8:21 with Bax and Nagle and Marty Caproni on Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:28 and Joe Walsh with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. You see this story out of Nevada happening the other day? This guy is in court
in Nevada.
In Nevada, he's in court, and he's waiting to see whether his bail is going to be revoked or not. And the judge, after listening to his statement where he says, "Your Honor, I'm no longer on drugs. I've really turned my life around. I'm really feeling like I'm on the right path to a straight, law-abiding lifestyle." And she says, well, that's all very well and good, but you've been here a million times. I'm going to deny bail. And the moment he does that, he responds by flying over the bench to attack this female judge.
I saw this now.
It's the craziest damn video I've seen in years. I mean, this guy, for one, you have to applaud the guy's athleticism. Because
I was gonna say,
and this was like Jimmy, Superfly Snuka, right? Flying from the turnbuckles.
That I looked at that and I was like, literally, my first thought was like, this guy could have been in the Olympics as like, you know what I mean, like a high jumper.
He was doing the Fosbury flop over the bar.
That desk was like 6 feet tall. That guy cleared it by easily a foot.
Easy.
Like Superman. Perfectly landed on the judge. My favorite part of that whole video is the clerk, the guy who's just sitting there typing away.
Yeah.
He's the one like, I guess I got to do this now. So he's like jumps in. Now he's fighting this guy and everything else. And then the dang court guards are all sitting there like, oh my God, this just happened. They were like 30 seconds late to react because they're like, they don't see that kind of action that often. Clearly, I don't think anyone thought that guy could have done it.
Listen, I know some court officers here in Springfield that would have knocked that guy down before he even lifted.
That's
what
I was going to say. Yeah, like some of my buddies that my buddy Danny Lonzak, he's a court guard in Chicopee. He's an athletic dude. He's like the nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
But he's also a guy I would never want to cross.
Well, there was another court officer, Gabe Muckwa, used to play for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah,
big giant dude, and he's I would not be flying towards a judge if Gabe Muckwa was the guy who could potentially stop me in my tracks.
Yeah, I was like,
sweetest guy ever, but I would not be fooling around with him.
I was like, let's put it this way: if they had like a league, like a wrestling league or a ultimate fighting league of just court guards, from what I know, Massachusetts court guards would be on the top of that thing. And clearly, Nevada be real down by the bottom.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But their clerks can fight. Listen, the guy transcribing, that guy can fight.
Now here's the real problem. It's hard to argue for your bail once you've beaten a judge at the bench.
That lawyer's like, oh, God. Ugh.
Yeah, the appeal process tends to slow down dramatically after you've taken a few swings at the judge.
Do you know, I saw that. It was on Instagram. And depending on what account posts, you can see things. Like when that account gets posted on something that's like a Law and Order type account, everyone's like, throw him away, lock him up forever, never see him again. And then you look at the other side, and like these people are like, well, what do you think should have happened? She smiled while reducing that man's freedom. I was like, what? Like, is that literally, like, are we that crazy as a country now?
We might be. It's 8:32. We got new.
It's going to be sunny with a high at 32 tomorrow. Clouds in the morning and then snow starting in
Enfield.
It's 8:52 with Bax and Nagle and Marty Caproni and Rock 102. Real quick, make sure you check out Baxy's musical podcast this week. My guest is Angelo Moore from the band Fishbone, also his new band, A Brand New Step. Got great new music out. This is a guy that's collaborated with the likes of Rick James and George Clinton and Jane's Addiction and Gwen Stefani and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. One of the greatest frontmen I've ever seen, ever. And you'll be able to check out that interview starting on Monday at midnight on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, and on rock102.com. And he does the entire interview on Zoom, walking through the Punk Rock Museum in Las Vegas, which, of course, cool. I could kick myself for not putting it on video, but it was absolutely hilarious. So it's a really good interview.
So is that the guy, is Fishbone the guy, was he the bassist guy with the weird bass guitar that had
No, he was the lead singer who would also play saxophone, too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's okay. Norwood Fisher, that's the bass player.
That's who I'm thinking of, though. I'm thinking of that guy, right?
Tremendously great band.
Yeah. See, I remember them. That's weird that I remember that.
Yeah.
The punk. I see. That's right. I forget you're a punk guy. Are you a pop punk guy though? Do you like?
Sure. Yeah, I'm pretty diverse.
I got a band for you to check out.
Which one?
I'm gonna play something for you after.
Okay.
Off air, and you tell me what you think of it. I like. Because I'm kind of a loser, but I like pop punk. You know what I mean? Like sweet, like Blink-182, that kind of, that genre of music.
Yeah.
If it's done well. There's so much bad of it. But I had this kid that he used to do comedy, but now he's in a band, and they're pretty. It's called Donaher.
Donaher.
Yeah, Donaher, and the band.
They're from locally.
They're New Hampshire based.
Okay,
but their album, I mean, it is. I can't stop listening to it. That's how good it is. It's really. Its production is perfect. The songs are well crafted.
Yeah.
It is for that genre of music, it's great.
Well, I'll make a recommendation to you. It's actually a band that's been around for a number of years.
Okay.
A band called The Descendants. Now, the Descendants are they're an amazing band. Their lead singer is actually a molecular biologist, and sometimes is in the band, sometimes he goes out of the band. But they sing about songs about like fishing and coffee and skateboarding, and they're all in their 50s and 60s. But they are really the first punk pop band that precedes all of those other like emo bands and all that. The Descendants were really great.
There's
still are for that matter.
Everyone always makes fun of pop music or punk music because they're like, oh, it's 3 chords. You know what I mean? 3 bar chords on a guitar or whatever. But there's also very smart molecular biologists with a PhD. I think it's Dexter from Offspring.
Yes. He is.
He's got a PhD. He's like a professor or something like that.
Greg Graffin from Bad Religion has also got a PhD in mathematics.
See, this is fun. This is a fun genre.
Yeah.
Also, not to be outdone, the guy from Men at Work has a PhD in astrophysics.
How about that? Isn't that something?
We should just do this for the rest of the show. Well, everyone listens. We're just going through the educations of different musicians. And then we're like, and now some more Tom Petty.
Who in 1979 cured cancer, but then lost the cure about 6 months later. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 9:12, and the Stone Temple Pilots on Rock 102. Rock 102 and Feel Good Shop Local want to help you start the new year off right with a shopping spree. Over 50 local businesses on that site. You can shop right from the comfort of your own home and never have to leave. Just go to rock102.com for your chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Feel Good Shop Local. The winner gets chosen on January 16th. Congratulations to last month's winner, Diane Waterhouse Barbarisi of Feeding Hills. Nice way to go. Your chance to win with feelgoodshoplocal.com and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
Oh,
there you go.
Great.
Marty Caproni is here. Do you have any thing going on this weekend that you need to promote?
But it's nothing that anyone within reach of the radio is going to care about. I just tell everyone, because people sometimes send me nice messages. I will tell you this, Bax. Were you here or not here? You weren't here last week when you were on vacation.
Yeah.
And I was talking about how I'm on air, and I was like, you'd think after being on here all the time, people know how much I love animals. One of these zoos would let me come in and play with the animals or something,
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah. And Stan from the Lupa Zoo reached out to me. I've got to call him today, actually. And he said, we could probably arrange for you to come in and play with some of the animals. So I talked to Nagle. He said he would probably come with me and we'd record it for like the station, for like the TikTok and the Facebook and all that stuff.
How fun would that be? Marty plays with the animals.
Do you want to come with us?
Yes, I want to come with you.
All right. Well, I'm going to try to set it up for next week. I'm going to try after the show or something. Maybe
How fun would that be? I mean, if you getting mauled by wild beasts, that would be hilarious.
Like you guys would be like, all right, we're going to pet the monkeys or whatever. I'm going to be like, can I go in the cage with the panther?
Yeah. Can we have lunch first? That way, when we're at the emergency room, I don't feel starving,
Sure,
like I'm waiting for you to be seen in triage.
Fine. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, they were the first ones in. I thought maybe the Forest Park Zoo, but no, they were the first ones in. So I'm hoping that I'm going to do that in the next week or so.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'm excited.
How's your insurance? Are you covered?
Yeah,
because wild animals sometimes don't really like when human beings are messing with them.
Yeah, I'll say it publicly right now. If they let me go in the cage with a bear and pet the bear or with the panther or whatever, and I get hurt, I will not sue them.
Will you sign release forms?
I will.
For that?
I'm not a lawyer, but I believe release forms are exculpatory in nature and not enforceable in a court of law. But I will. I will give them my word that
Okay.
I won't. If they let me do, if there was something negligent, like we walk in the park and the bear's running around and it takes my head off, well then fine.
Or you walk in there with like pork chops around your neck.
But if they're like, hey man, you can go in there with the panther, it might bite you. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna go in there.
Or it might just lick you to death.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to like these. There's one monkey there that every time I go, it's almost like it knows me. It's like I have a connection to this monkey.
Yeah. Charlotte Nash thought the same thing too.
No, it's not
Then
a
the monkey
chimpanzee.
ripped her poor face right off her body.
I'm impressed that you remember her name.
Oh, no, I listened to you. I not only remember her name, I remember the name of the monkey.
What was the monkey's name?
Travis the monkey.
Travis?
Bad monkey.
Yeah, it ripped off. It ripped off her face. Right?
Ripped off her face.
Yeah, but that's a chimpanzee. That's a whole different category of monkey. That's really not even a monkey, right? Like a chimpanzee.
No, it's a monkey. Monkeys are monkeys.
Monkey. It's a monkey. If someone out there has a baby chimpanzee or something, I'd come over your house and hang out with the chimpanzee.
Oh yeah, no, they're adorable when they're wearing like little pants and stuff. But honestly, they're dangerous wild animals.
Someone said like a regular run of the mill chimpanzee has like 4 or 5 times the strength of like the strongest human. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. I know that when one is ripping your face off, it's hard to tell whether it's 5 times the strength or 3 times the strength.
But a human can rip your face off too. Wasn't there that guy who ate bath salts and ripped his neighbor's face off and ate it?
Yes, but those were real powerful bath salts. I gave him 3 or 4 times his normal strength.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. See, the problem with the chimpanzees, you can't tell if they're really in shape or not unless they shave.
Whether they're monkeyscaping, is that?
Yeah, if they monkeyscape, they go online. If they get one of those monkscape, it's the same company as Manscaped. If they get one of those monkey saving razors, like for summer, to show off their summer body at the beach.
Yeah, in the wintertime, you can understand letting it grow, warms you up. But you don't want to look unruly during swimwear season.
It's a monkey scaper. Also good for Italians. I can say that I'm Italian. This is my people.
If you can make that work, I'd love to go. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna call Stan. So if he's listening, he knows. I'm gonna call him.
I happen to have 911 on speed dial just in case.
Listen, I don't even know if that part of Ludlow gets I don't even know if they have cell service up there.
It's still worth the try.
But I want to go. They have that place is. Have you been there to Lupa?
Not in a long time, but yeah.
And they had giraffes there and stuff. I don't think the giraffes are there anymore. I think it's just like the giraffe house, which is weird because now you got a really tall house for what? You got to find another tall animal.
Yeah,
or
I know.
How's the NBA league? They're the D league. How's the players in there or something?
Yeah, well.
You need that tall. You got to use that tall.
Well, you can always get another giraffe.
Yeah.
There's probably like a giraffe outlet somewhere.
They got a porcupine that I love, and my favorite thing that I'm really looking forward to is getting in there with the otters.
The otters.
Yeah, you ever see otters?
Oh yeah, they're adorable when they're playing and stuff.
Yeah.
But they're also very dangerous animals too.
I mean, every animal's dangerous. But
it'll rip the meat right off your body.
I'm gonna be honest. If there's a way to go, that's probably not getting your face eaten by a monkey, but like getting bit by you're petting a otter.
Well, you know what I like? Watching nature from afar. And by afar, I mean in my home in front of a television
All right,
set.
well then you guys can film while I go into the cages with the animals.
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah,
we're not getting anywhere near an animal.
Yeah, we'll get some good content. I'm not officially an employee of Saga Communications, so if I'm hurt, there's no responsibility at all for Saga.
Do you have any medical proxy information you want to share before we do this?
No, I should probably update my emergency contacts list.
At least. I don't know who's got a power of attorney over your vast estate, but
I think it was my mom, and she's dead. So
It's 9:19 with Bax and Nagle and Marty Caprodi at Rock 102.